me down, man. Now I don't believe in nothing no more. I'm going to law school. No!
Tuts, when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer just like you.
Good for you, son. If there's one thing America needs, it's more lawyers. Can you imagine a world without lawyers? Oh.
Dad, there's been an accident.
Are you going to be able to get by without Carl's paycheck?
I just don't know for sure, Dad. Everything seems so awful. I mean, what rights do we have? I guess I'll need a good lawyer.
Good just won't cut it. Not with 2 hungry mouths to feed. You need the best lawyer there is.
Sounds nice, Dad, but who?
Oh my goodness. Ooh! Whose Sailor Moon shirt? Why, mine, of course. It's a little tight. The Sanders guy, I'm sorry. 5 bits is not enough to have your message read, but it is enough for me to shame you as a poor. Look, if you guys need to see higher socks, you need to send higher bits. Frankly.
What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel on this Wednesday. This is Breaking the Narrative, and I'm here with my very special guest, Nick Vercata Law. How are you?
Hey, great. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. It's really hot in Cancun. It's the summertime is starting already.
Oh, you shut your fucking mouth. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. It is so damn cold here. I hate it.
Oh my God, I had to like turn off the AC. I'm like dying right now. I'm like, oh my God, the heat. The heat. How is the snow is not melted over there?
Not melted.
No.
It keeps snowing.
Oh my God.
The state is terrible.
This is why I left the Canadian state of Canadians whatever. Snowville. But yeah, I'm so glad you're here tonight. Thank you for being here. There's so much stuff going on in the news that I'm constantly like, what the fuck's going on? Like,
it's weird. Every day I wake up and I'm like, is this actual or am I still asleep? I don't know anymore.
I don't know anymore
stuck
either.
between worlds, man.
It's insane. But like, you are also going through a lot of stuff. So you have a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's fun.
You're being sued. So that must be fun as a lawyer to deal with the lawsuit. Can you expand on this lawsuit a little bit, because people are calling you out?
Sure. There's a weirdo out there. His name is Montagraph, who he gets joy out of some people call it trolling. Other people full on say that he's like a horrific nightmare of a harasser who drives people to suicide. Now, I'm not a big person who believes that driving people to suicide by being a dummy online is like a thing. Like I try not to blame a person who like trolls people or whatever for someone else dying, like killing themselves, because I think that there's got to be something there that is like exacerbated, and I don't put that typically on people's shoulders, right?
Sure.
But that's just what, people have told me, like, he's a monster, he's a menace, and I'm like, well, he's an idiot. Like, and I encountered Monograph back in 2019. He had another fake lawsuit against a guy named Morphinos. And Morphinos said some really nasty stuff about Montagraph, like calling him pedophile, said he had sex with watermelon. Sounds really familiar to what I'm being sued for. And Montagraph lost that lawsuit. It was dismissed because he was, because he didn't really have a chance to win it. So he ended up losing that lawsuit. And I was on with Mr. Medicare, who was explaining Montagraph to me, and we were talking about his lawsuit. And then Monty called me at some point after that. The details are kind of fuzzy. Like the next day or a couple days later or whatever, he called me.
How long ago was this? Like 5 years ago?
2019. It was in June of 2019, the end of June of 2019. I know the date I was on the show with Medicare, I believe, is June 29th. And so it would have been sometime in this short window after that. So yeah, then Montagraph called me, and I made fun of him on the phone once I kind of realized who it was, and then I made fun of him a little bit on a show, on my show, I think. And then he decided to go to war with me. He said he was going to make me famous and make my law firm famous. And I was like, cool, like, thanks. Since I'm an entertainer, that'll be helpful for me. And he decided to go into meme warfare, and he made beautiful memes of me being a sausage. Okay. And I was the king of the sweaty sausage squad, apparently.
Okay.
I don't know. This was his
That's
top shelf
as hot dog man, but kind of different?
This is like his big harassment, like his big win thing. And I was like, okay. I mean, I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
But so he kind of disappeared after, I don't know, a couple months of that. And then he popped up in it was around Christmas of 2019. I think it was 2019, same year, but it was like 6 months later. And he made this crazy unhinged video saying he was going to come to all these different people's see him at the gas station. Because he knew where everybody was at all times. Just show up while they're pumping gas, and they better call the cops because he wanted them to, and he was going to react faster. So he makes these death threats.
That's weird. Yeah, that's threats, isn't it?
I hate to call it a death threat, but he made these vague sort of promises to show up and implied heavily that he was going to either hurt them or kill them prior to the cops being able to arrive.
What the fuck? And
that no one would be able to talk shit, when he was there in person. Because
law enforcement is shit. They're not going to get there fast enough.
Well, and he always acts like he's got some super special skills. And the people he usually preys on are in the Q community. They're in heavy conspiracy communities, and they start to believe that he has actual ties to the CIA and stuff like that. They legitimately believe that Montagraph is an asset for the government and is very dangerous. Yes, no. But see, when I'm talking about people who are into conspiracies, we're talking deep in. These are
way
people,
worse than Alex Jones.
Not these people probably like Jones because he's scratching the surface of what they know.
Yeah.
Type stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's who he's usually after. So these people get really freaked out by him, and they'll leave the internet, or like I said, some people have allegedly killed themselves. I don't know. But I think there are deeper problems there than Montagraph, and he just jumps into these places. Montagraph says that he started the Sandy Hook denial, that the hoax, the Sandy Hook hoax thing, that he says he's the first guy who did it, who said it.
He actually owns that? That's crazy.
Yeah. And there's all sorts of weird stuff that he's half tied to because of all the conspiracy stuff. It's hard to know. But this is what, people say about him. But anyway, so he makes this threatening video in 2019, saying he's going to come to, not just to me. He does name me specifically, but a whole lot of people. And then he also says Jack from Twitter and Jack Kant from Patreon and Susan Wojcicki. Like he's going to show up and murder all of them.
That's insane.
It's really fucking unhinged video. And was like, well, that was kind of funny. Like I made a video and laughed at it, and then he disappeared. And then he popped up again when I got banned from YouTube in October. And
that's when I learned of him, is because I didn't know anything about him until he popped up when you were banned, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, okay, just some random hater that just popped out of nowhere. I had no idea about the history, and I was like, yeah, okay.
And so then I said a bunch of shit that people have been saying about Montagraph for years now. And he decided that he was going to sue me over it, I guess. Probably because I said, sue me over it, you fucking retard, or whatever.
Yeah.
But that,
dared
usually that's not why you engage in a lawsuit, is because someone who was clearly mocking you.
You basically said, I triple dog dare you. And he went, okay. And
then he did. And so it's like, I guess. So now I'm fighting Montagraph. And
well, now you have this Indiegogo, and some people think that, or sorry, not Indiegogo, Give Send Go, excuse me. Here it is, Give Send Go, fighting a bogus lawsuit. And the link is in the description as well as the pinned comment. So if you want to donate, go for it. If you don't want to donate, don't.
Yes. Let me briefly address this, because apparently it is now like the worst thing in the world to do a GoFundMe for a bogus lawsuit, or a Give Send Go for a bogus lawsuit.
Well, no. Okay, hold on. It's because it's Nick. You're not allowed to ask people for help if you are a successful person who has money and
that's true,
owns a car. Yeah. You're not allowed to do that, or multiple cars, or whatever. Like you have a family car and you just bought yourself a car. You're not allowed to be a successful person and still ask for help, because no man is an island, right? Like we know this. Like, I hate the word community, but you've kind of made yourself a community, and people like you, they subscribe.
I can't figure out why.
I know. I mean, come on. But still, it's not allowed when you're a successful person to ask for help. And when you do ask for help when you're a successful person, then you're begging. Okay. So that changes. The definition's changed.
It's weird because I put in the Give Send Go, like, this is, if people want to help me, great. If you don't, fine. I'm not going to starve or die or anything. The internet has been fantastic to me. Yeah. But a lot of people were like, hey, how can we contribute to the lawsuit? How can we participate in that? And I said, well, here you go. Here's a way to do it. I waited quite a long time, several months before opening one, because it was like, I was hoping it would just be able to be done right away. But the way court works, it doesn't really happen that fast. We have a hearing on April 10th, and I'm hoping sometime very soon after that, the case will be over, because our hearing is on our motion to end the case. And if we're successful, it'll be pretty much done, which would be lovely. Because this thing is not going, like, no matter what happens, Montagraph doesn't have any money. So he's able to just do this and to cause a bunch of harm without really ever. I'll have a piece of paper that says he owes me a shitload of money.
Sure.
Like if we get that, otherwise it'll just be like, there you go. You lose.
What is he suing you for? I know what he's suing you for the defamation, meaning, like, what is he asking for if he wins? Like, what would he get?
That's the problem. He says he's alleging $50,000 in damages, but he's going to have to show somehow where he lost. Like, so the way defamation works is you have to show where you were harmed, like how he actually lost any money, but he doesn't. He says his only source of income is YouTube, I believe, in his affidavit, that's his only source of money, which isn't a ton of money that he's making. And I'm 99% sure that ever since my comments were made, he didn't make less than he made in any, like, it'll be really interesting if we ever get to that part for him to somehow prove what he lost. So the whole thing is just engineered to literally just cost me a bunch of money. And him, however much he's paying his attorney, which I'm not sure he's paying his attorney anything, because I think his attorney personally hates me, which I don't know why.
Well,
like
I mean,
every time I've talked to that guy, it was always like fine. Even I had a case against him and it wasn't like hostile. I mean, we were in negotiations. I ended up having to drop my client because I've told the story. My client threatened physical violence against me. So I had to drop the client there, and it was like, well, so then some other lawyer took on the case and they got it resolved, and that was great. But like, it's not like we did a bunch of crazy shit.
well, I mean, you do crazy shit all the time, but I mean, it's just, this is so crazy. Now, so you don't, I mean, currently, I'm sure you don't have a countersuit, but are you going to file one at some sort?
I mean, again, the problem with montagraph is there's nothing to take.
Right.
The guy's basically said he lives in rented place, like he rents places, or he lives with his alleged girlfriend or something.
So there would be no point in countersuing.
Plus, I mean, I guess one of the things that would be interesting is he's suing me for calling him a retard.
Okay.
And that's part of the suit, and he's called me retarded several times. So I guess I could countersue him for calling me retarded.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking insane. Like, it's a good demonstration of how the court system can just fuck people over. But here's why I think it's important, and here's why I'm fighting it.
Okay.
Is because even if montagraph can't pay, the reason he chose Minnesota doesn't have an anti-slap, which I actually prefer. I don't really like anti-slaps. I'm not a big fan of them, but it's there as a tool. And as long as it exists, I'm going to use it. And it's for lawsuits like this. So my lawyer's theory of the case is to use this complex legal process called conflict of laws, where basically there is a Colorado law where montagraph said he lived until we pulled this out, and then he tried to say he lived somewhere else.
Sure.
Because he and his lawyer have decided to lie to the court. But there's this way to apply Colorado law in Minnesota, because this law is more, the Colorado law is more appropriate than the Minnesota. And so our laws are technically in conflict. So then you do this, like, there's a couple different tests to see which laws apply. And the main one is the most significant relationship test. Montagraph has the most significant relationship to Colorado. He's suing me in Minnesota because Minnesota would have jurisdiction. But the theory is that the law of Colorado would be applied under the conflict of laws statute because Colorado has an interest in preventing its citizens from filing frivolous lawsuits. Well, you've got a Colorado citizen filing a frivolous lawsuit. Right.
Yeah.
And so through conflict of laws, if we win, we get an anti-slap against montagraph. So then that would be, even if he can never pay it, we've got a judgment against him, which should send as a message to anybody who wants to sue some content creator. Like, hey, even if you think you can get around the sort of normal legal structures and go after content creators, who, by the way, like, I didn't know anything about this guy. And I did the one show on Jim and it fucking lit him up. Like, he was, that set him off so crazy. And it's like, so wait, anytime a content creator talks about somebody ever, they're setting themselves up to get into this weird thing where that person comes and bothers them constantly. Because like, once I'm done talking about something, it's not like I go do anything. Like, I didn't ever contact montagraph or like email him or anything weird.
Right.
He kept coming to me.
Yeah, you lived rent free in his head. Like,
yeah, for apparently years.
Yeah. What a weirdo.
And so having this judgment will say, like, look, I mean, if you're gonna go after people, he might not have anything to take, but you might. And if you have something to take, you better make sure that your shit's in order, is the main thing. But But I do want to be clear. The Give, Send, Go is just there for people to pitch in if they want. I wrote that in the Give, Send, Go. Like, again, please do not give me a fucking penny if it puts you out in any way. Like, always take care. And this is something I've said from the beginning of my channel. Like, once super chats were a thing that I discovered, I was like, don't ever give me money if it puts you in financial hardship. Please do not do that. Always take care of your own family first. I will be okay.
I think it's the weird part is because that's what a lot of people said to me. Like Nick's begging his fans for money. You know, this is bullshit because he has like a car, he has this blah 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 blah. And for me, it was, well, first of all, like you're my friend, so obviously I'm going to have your back, and I'm going to you've gone and you know you've helped so many people. So this is the least I can do is just put this on my Twitter. I'm going to. And then some people decided to come in onto Twitter and, you know, tell me certain things about you. And I was just like, well, that's fine. Like, that's your prerogative. If that's what you think, then don't donate. Like, it's not, I even responded to them. I was like, that's what you believe, then don't donate. It's not that he's asking you for money. You don't qualify then. Like, if you're the one that's like, you know, I don't have any money, or like he shouldn't be asking for money or whatever, then don't. But people who do, they'll donate. It's just for the people who want to donate. It's not a begging situation in the least, because you're not like, oh, I'm going broke, like my wife's gonna leave me, like if I don't get any money, like this lawsuit's put a strain on our marriage, like, you know, you're not that kind of person. So this is just really bizarre to me. Like they're treating you like you're like DSP or something, and there's begging people for money, and it's not the case.
That's one. I was talking about this the other day. One thing I've never done is ever like misrepresented how much money that I make or whatever. Like I don't go out and say I made this much money, blah 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 blah. But if people ask me about stuff, I tell them. It's up on Playboard, like the super chat records are up on Playboard. You can see all of that.
It's public knowledge.
Rumble's a lot harder because they, you know, Playboard doesn't track Rumble, but I don't make a ton of super chat money on Rumble because they still don't have mobile chats and stuff like that yet. So, you know, it's I'm very, very open about how much I've made. I don't try and do that. There are a lot of creators out there who have done GoFundMe's who are way richer than me. And like,
nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, and they'll be like, well, you know, this is really going to kill me. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I know this business. I know how much I make. I know how much you make type thing. And they act like that. And it's like, okay, cute. Fine, I guess. But yeah, so it's like, the one thing I've never, ever done is try to misrepresent that I need something, or that, you know, I'm going to be destitute and out on the street. I mean,
it's ridiculous. I don't know. That's the picture they're painting, and it's just ridiculous. And then, like, you know, they're just like pointing out how much money you make, or the fact that you have a new car, or the fact that you bought a painting. It's just like, you know, people are allowed to have be successful and then have weird lawsuits come into their lives. And then they're allowed to ask their friends for help. It's not that big of a deal. If you don't want to help, don't. And I just thought it was ridiculous that people, you know, decided to do that. But if you're one of the people that wants to help Nick, the link is in the description as well as the pinned comment. So if you're against this weird lawsuit, and this I feel like it's such a free speech situation anyway. So if you're a fan of free speech, which I think is very important, then go ahead and donate if you want to. If you don't, then don't. That's it. That's my spiel. And with that said, I'm gonna get to some donations on my channel because people are so nice and generous, and they're gifting 20 memberships. Low watermark, thank you so much for gifting 20 memberships to the chat. That's incredible. So thank you so much for that. Jane Theory is in the house. Jane Theory, I don't know if you know Jane Theory, Nick, but Jane Theory is an amazing content creator as well. She hangs out with us all the time, and you know, we game together. We game, we stream. I don't know if you've met, but you should. Like, at some point, you guys have to meet.
Yeah, we should do that.
Definitely. Jane's great. And for $5, she says, rich politicians ask for money all the time and no one complains, and they do nothing of value with the money. And this is so true. as well. Very true. And then Kryptonian Jedi here for 2 says, ask Nick to make a verdict on Nina versus Az debate. Oh my God, that was a whole thing. Basically, long story short, we're playing Conan Exiles. I woke up and okay, so he has a house. We're in the same like clan or whatever.
Yeah.
But he has a house, and when I first started the game, it was me, Jane, a bunch of other people. X-Ray Girl plays, and he has a house. And then Shadversity. I don't know if you know who Shad is.
Yeah, Shad's awesome.
Yeah, so he has a house, and we all the girls abandoned Az. And yes, Nick should play. Nick should play with us, but I think Nick's just incredibly busy. But you should definitely play.
I'm traumatized from video games, which I have not played since Johnny Depp, and here's why. Are you ready?
Yes, tell me. Wait, what is this? Hang on. Oh my god! Oh my god! What the fuck?
I'm traumatized. It's my fucking millennia from Elden Ring.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay. Well, when you're ready to get back on the horse, you should come play Conan Exiles with us. But anyways, so Shad has a house, and all the ladies left Az, including myself, and we went to live in Shad's house. Because, well, hey, he gave us jewelry. He gave us our own rooms. He gave us all the stuff. Whereas an Az was like, yeah, I have a house. And he was like still building it. And he didn't have a roof at the time. And Shad like had everything. His house looked like a castle. It was beautiful. Obviously, the ladies are going to abandon the other guy. Like, I mean, come on. Like, yeah. It's just the way it is. We're women. We go where the jewelry is. So
jewelry, security, property. It's perfect.
Exactly. So then he makes like so I go to sleep at night in my bed in Shad's castle, and Az claims that this is a commune that we're part of, which is true because it is a commune. But it's almost like a harem though, because he takes care of us, and we're his kind of like his wives.
Wait, is that how that word's supposed to be pronounced?
Yeah, harem.
Everybody says harem.
Whatever, harem, harem. Either way.
I don't know. You're Persian, so you like.
We say harem. Yeah,
that's the origin of the word.
Yeah, harem. That's what we say.
Well, that's what I'm saying from now on.
Or harem. We say harem too. That's
okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. But anyways, so then I wake up and I died during my sleep at night, and so I lost all my shit.
Dead.
I woke up dead, and I was like, I lost all my equipment. I lost everything, and I was like, what the fuck? And so, and Az was the only person that was on at the time. Shad wasn't on. And so I was like, oh my God, I lost all my stuff. And he's just like, yeah, like, we get into like this heated debate about how I died because I live in a commune, and he built like a furnace below me, and it became too hot in my room and I died, and Shad killed me. And I was like, maybe you killed me because you've been bitching for like literally 3 days straight about how all of us have abandoned you, and you have motive. He does not have motive. So I feel like if this was a court of law, you're the one that would be the murderer because you have motive. He doesn't have motive. He's taking care of us and he loves us. But you, however, would. And then we start talking about you because everybody was like, yeah, like I wonder what Nick would say about this. And I was like, Nick would represent me, obviously, because
I'd represent whoever hired me first. I mean,
exactly. And I said I would pay him more because I just would, because I know you're about more money and who is the grift. So that was the thing. So now Kryptonian Jedi is asking for you to make a verdict on Nina versus Az debate. So from what you heard, do you think that Shad is guilty, or do you think Az may have killed us? I think
Az definitely killed you.
There you go.
Yeah. Even if
noted.
Even if Shad's actions killed you, like even if that's true, Az killed you. It's Az's fault. His negligence drove you to Shad's commune.
Thank you. Exactly. This is exactly what happened. And I hope you can clip that. You can clip that. 200 Watt Studios is in the house for $2. You're going down in court, Nikki. That's right.
Constantly.
God.
That the judge tells me I have to wipe my mouth all the time.
Jane's very happy about this ruling. See, as did it. Everyone knows. See, I knew it. Everyone knows. See, except for this person. As for life. Sorry. Clip it. Now people are taking sides. Yes, I am on Rumble. We are currently multicasting or whatever, simulcast, multicast, whatever the hell it's called. It's happening. Oh my God, I have a Rumble rant for $5. That's my first one. It's like
Yay, congrats.
it's like a virginity thing. My Rumble cherry has been popped. Thank you, Zerxmorks. For $5 says, did you see the Mexico president speech of the USA and Biden the other day? What are your thoughts? Oh my God, I totally watched it. Of course I watched it. I think AMLO is amazing. I think he's a great president. He is very based, and he's literally the Donald Trump of Mexico. Everybody has, we call it like, my husband and I make fun because how TDS, it's called TDS. We say like AMLO, like ADS because it's like AMLO. So we say like they have the same thing, but with AMLO. And he just basically said that like, just Biden's corrupt, that there's corruption everywhere. We can watch the video in a little bit, but it was a really good speech that he gave. AMLO's fucking based. Thank you for that $5 and popping my cherry on Rumble rants. Fantastic stuff. And then we got Western Civilization for $10 says, can we get a reading from the Holy Book Death Sentences? Thanks. What is that? I don't know.
That's the unbreaded.
Oh, the unbreaded. We can do that later on Rumble. That will happen. Definitely. Hey, Rumble does pop out chats now. I didn't realize.
Yep. Oh, Rumble's been getting like it's been improving everything as fast as it can, which is great.
Yeah.
Like we all wanted to like improve even faster, but really like they're making the user experience better and better by the day.
It's becoming great. It's doing great. I can't wait to go on there and see if it glitches this time. It'll be fantastic. Hi Rumble people, you guys are amazing. Thank you for watching, all the Rumblers. I love you guys. Smash the plussy button or whatever it is. Oh, it's a thumbs up now. It's not a plussy anymore. I liked saying plussy before. They should have kept it plussy.
Yeah, I like the plussy.
Russell Hall for $2 says, happy ass Wednesday. So I'm guessing you're going around showing your ass to everyone, Russell. Careful.
Nina, it is Ass Wednesday.
I know. Are you going to show your ass again?
Probably. Depends how much I drink.
Just don't do it on my stream.
I wouldn't do it on stream. Oh my goodness.
Well, oh my God, that one guy on Friday Night Tights whipped it out and just freaking started pissing on stream. So apparently that's a thing now that people do.
It's totally fake.
Yeah, fake.
Not so sure on that one.
I'm not either. Like I feel like maybe it was fake, but at the same time, I feel like maybe it wasn't fake. Maybe.
I mean, I saw it. I would have claimed it was fake too.
It's so tiny. Okay. Here we go. Map hanger for $2. RDS is a thing these days. RDS, like what? Ron DeSantis?
No, I think Ricada derangement syndrome.
Oh, Ricada. Oh, that's funny. Oh my God. There's another Rumble rant from Restelin 9000 for $5. Second rant. If you want Nick in your game, you need to grift him. # pound that plussy. How do I grift you into the game?
I have no idea. I haven't, I keep sitting down. I did see a game that's about to come out on Steam that I am going to play. I've decided I'm definitely going to play it. It's a Warhammer 40K first person shooter, but it's like Doom 2.
Isn't that already out? That's called Dark Side, isn't it?
No.
Or Dark Tide?
Dark Tide is like beautiful and pretty. This is Doom 2 style graphics. So it looks like a game from the 90s. It's called Bolt Gun, and it looks so cool. So much fun. So okay. I'm pumped for Bolt Gun.
That sounds cool. All right. Well, somehow we'll make you play Conan too. Just when is that coming out?
Pretty soon. I'm seeing it all over the place now. So I'm guessing here. I'll see if I can find the release date for it while we talk. Yeah, I'm guessing it's soon because I keep seeing articles and videos starting to pop up more and more. And I had seen the preview for it a long time ago, and it's funny. Like the trailer is like a guy sifting through a bunch of like floppy disks. He pulls this one out, and it's like, oh shit. It looks great.
This is also true. We don't wear much in Conan. I have like quadruple E size tits. It's great.
I heard that I had read about the Conan thing a long time ago, about the game, and that it was like,
it's fantastic, man. You can have slaves. It's a very good game. We scissor all the time. All the women are scissoring.
Wait,
we're having orgies.
Why didn't anybody know about this?
It's great. There's a lot of things that are happening on there. You should also get Lady Rackets. Does Lady Rackets play?
No.
Oh man,
she's not a video gamer, generally speaking.
Aw, maybe we can get her into it somehow. I don't know. Seize the day for 279 says, to be clear, a happy / no regret give send go, Nick. Aw, thank you.
Thank you.
And also, favorite part is Banks not frozen for supporting Nick. That's funny. Mangas for 550. How long before middling athletes invade the Special Olympics and compete as trans disabled?
Oh God,
tomorrow.
That'll be so weird. Like, I don't know. That might be one of those places where if you do that, they may kill you. Right?
Oh my God. Yeah. I think so. But holy shit, I don't know. Alan Reese for 5 says, why does Nina have wider shoulders than the Pope? What? Did you guys get the train clip on Twitter where black guy was racist to a family? Love you guys. No.
Yeah, I did see that one. It was wild. Like there's a guy, presumably his wife, and they have a little kid, like a little kid, maybe 5 years old or something between them. And this black guy's across the train. He's just screaming at him, like all this horrific stuff, like super profane. Had to be kind of terrifying.
Wow. No, I didn't see the link. Or I mean, I didn't see this video.
Yeah, it was
that sounds awful.
It's not what you would want to have happening.
No.
Long story short, you got your kid there.
Not at all. Russell Hall for 2. Nick isn't a judge. He's barely even a lawyer.
Oh, thank God.
Maiden Iron for 9.99. Here's some pesos, Nina. I can't wait for What the Fuck Wednesday. Hey, you can if you have what the fuck stuff, we can talk about it. I love talking about what the fuck stuff. Alan Reese for 5. Shad built Nina a new heat and cold resistant armor. It's in your bedroom chest. Shad cares. Daddy Az is a naughty man. This is true. Shad cares very much. He built me the She-Ra armor. I was like, oh my God. Thank you, Shad. He's so great. I just love him.
Shad's such a giver. I called him Chad, but I'll take it.
I mean, he is a Chad. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Russell Hall for 2. Air conditioning makes fools of us all. I love air conditioning. I couldn't live without it. USS J4 Broly says for 10. Nick, hope you're feeling better, brother. Keep killing it, Nina. Get that butt. Why? What's going on? Why were you feeling bad?
Oh, I was feeling, I think it's winter. Like this winter is dragging on forever. I get some level of seasonal depression. And it's because it's just these like long, dreary day or short, dreary days and long nights. It's just not enough sun, not enough anything. And I know people are like, oh, you're pale as fuck. You don't get enough sun anyway. I know, but like it comes through my windows and it matters. And God, the winter in this state, it just lasts forever.
Well, it doesn't end. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts it starts in November and it'll typically finish sometime near the end of April. And it just goes on and on and on. And so like yesterday I was gonna do a show and then I didn't because I was just like I was dying and felt like crap and just needed to sleep. And I went to sleep really early and then I woke up at like 6:30 a.m. And then of course I had a bunch of stuff to do today. So then I had to go back to sleep. I mentioned that I was passed out right before coming on the show.
Yeah.
And almost slept through my alarm. It's just this constant stuff. And
and you're a dad and you have like 5 kids.
Yeah.
There's like never any rest for you.
Yep.
Oh man, that's freaking nuts. Well, let's get to the first topic, and that is that the fact Trump didn't get indicted today. I mean, we heard he was going to. There was all these rumors came out, and he was like,
he was going to yesterday, then he was going to today.
Yeah, and then it was going to get yesterday, and it was going to get today, and then it didn't happen. And I mean, I was ready with my bucket of popcorn because I was like, either way, I'm going to laugh because either way, people are going to lose their minds. Whether it's the right or the left, people are going to lose their minds.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. But then it didn't happen. So I was like, all right. So what's going to happen now? And well, I mean, since we basically started, like right before we started talking about the show, or just started doing the show, I saw Donald Trump Jr. tweet this out, and it says, seems relevant in February 2018 document just uncovered. Michael Cohen's own attorney in a letter to the Federal Election Commission says that the payment in question does not constitute a campaign contribution. Is the key witness if I think he meant if the key witness is lying to the grand jury and imploding their case. And here's the letter that he's posted here. I don't know if I want to read that whole thing.
Let me take a peek at it real quick. Okay.
Here, do you want me to send you the link so you can read it?
No, I'm reading it right now.
Okay.
On the screen. Used his own personal funds to facilitate a payment of $130,000 to Stephanie Clifford. Neither the Trump organization or Trump campaign was party to the transaction with Ms. Clifford. Neither reimbursed Mr. Cohen for the payment directly or indirectly. Contrary to the allegations in the complaint, which are entirely speculative, neither Mr. Cohen nor essential consultants made any in-kind contributions to Donald J. Trump for President, Inc. or any other presidential campaign committee. Mr. Cohen has not been a government employee during any of the relevant time period. The payment in question does not constitute a campaign contribution or expenditure, and therefore FEC lacks jurisdiction over this matter. Complainants have not and cannot present any evidence to the contrary. Accordingly, the complaint should be dismissed.
I sent it to you, so if you wanted to take a closer look at it, it's in the private chat.
I mean, the long and short is this is a letter stating that, but if they feel like they can prove that that's not true, oh shit, just a second. I hit the wrong thing on my computer.
And he's gone. Oh no. Well, while he's gone, I'm going to read these member messages. Larry sent a member message saying that, hail Nina, we love infinitely, best wishes always. And then Bush McFadden for a member message saying, hi Nina, get Charlie Peace on Infinite Hope. I don't know who that is. I'll have to look him up. Thank you for that. And then, oh, here's Dick again. Hi.
Yeah, me.
That was funny. You're like, oh no, I did something wrong on my computer, and then it went black.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. Okay. Okay, you're back now. So let me go back.
Yes.
Okay, so it's okay. Okay, so what is going on? What is going on? Like, especially for people who don't really understand. Like maybe people don't really get politics all that much. Can you just dumb this down? What is going on? Donald Trump paid a porno star or something, and
okay, so the history is allegedly, according to Stormy Daniels, Donald Trump had sex with her
right
a long time ago,
and
then right before the 2016 election, that he ended up winning. Right before that election, allegedly, she was paid by Michael Cohen to shut the fuck up.
Right.
Now, Trump has always said that he did not have sex with Stormy Daniels at all. She's making that claim, and he says she didn't.
Do you think they did?
Yeah, I think they did.
I think they did too. Why is he denying this? He should have just been like, yeah, I fucked her. Who cares?
I think because she says he has a tiny penis. I'm serious though. I'm pretty sure that she says he has a tiny penis. So, if then he admits to it, then he has to like.
Then he has to admit that he has a small dick.
Yeah, he has to. Well, it gives her a little credibility to say he has a small penis if that's what's happened. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
But so that's I think that's probably why, because that was the whole thing. I think she put it in a book or something that she had sex with him and he had a little penis. He's like, it's not small, it's very large.
Wait,
but,
people are saying wrong. They're like, wrong. Small
what?
hands?
Oh, Trump just says, Trump says wrong. I don't think.
Maybe it was small hands. What's up, Justin Proper? Maybe it was small hands, but you know what that means if you have small hands.
Trump always called Marco Rubio, or no. Oh yeah. Marco Rubio said he had small hands. I think said Trump had small hands or something like that. But anyway, whatever. So Stormy makes his claim. Trump denies it. They pay her to stop talking about it because it's an election cycle or where Cohen pays her. Pays her allegedly. And so now, and this is after all of the investigations they've done on Trump, all of the shit that they've been looking at and promising for years and years and years. The closest thing they've got is this $130,000 payment from Michael Cohen to Stormy Daniels. Trump was paying Cohen regularly for work, so they claim that he reimbursed Cohen for the $130,000. And what they say is that was a campaign contribution that Trump wrote off as legal expenses for business expenses on taxes. Therefore, he miscategorized it on taxation, which would make it a crime because you get a tax deduction for a legal expense connected to a business. So it's a deduction that he improperly took, which is a crime. And if that's done in furtherance of another crime or something, it could be a federal felony. But I think it's a misdemeanor in Manhattan where it's being pursued by the grand jury right now. But the hope, of course, is to get something out of either the grand jury process or to get something out of the Manhattan case to escalate it to federal court, or at least to the level of federal crime to make it a felony in New York. One of those two things. But the reality is this is a really tough case to prove because first they have to prove that what was done was not legal.
Okay.
And then they have to prove that what was done was intentional and not a mistake. And so let's say you, hypothetically, let's say Cohen paid Stormy Daniels and Trump knew he paid Stormy Daniels or whatever. And he's like, okay, I'll just reimburse you in the course of payments or whatever. And so we'll say, yes, this $130,000 was paid by Cohen. Trump did reimburse him. This is all for the sake of argument, chat. Don't yell at me too much. For the sake of argument, he did reimburse Michael Cohen. They understood that was happening. But then when Trump goes to file his taxes, he turns over all of his shit to his accountants and they just see a bunch of payments to Michael Cohen, who's his lawyer, for the Trump organization or whatever, and it's connected to business activities, and they just deduct all of that as legal expenses. And this $130,000, no one really talked about it because, it's kind of a private thing. Again, let's say he had sex with Stormy Daniels and this was to keep her quiet and all of that stuff.
And he was married at the time and he didn't want his wife to know. And
so let's just say all of that is there. It could have been done in error. And if it was done without criminal intent, it was just an accounting mistake that he can blame on an accountant, the remedy should be pay the taxes that you got back plus a penalty and interest. I mean, no big deal, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
Trump,
not an arrestable offense.
right? So that should be fixed by saying, hey, then you owe like $60,000 in taxes. Trump writes a check and it should be over. That's how this should be handled for a normal person. But Donald Trump isn't a normal person. He's Satan incarnate. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's like, this is the world we live in now, where because of who he is, they need everything to be, everything has to be more dramatic. Everything has to be more dire.
And it's so weird to me because, like, first of all, the New York prosecutor, who's basically kind of famous for jailing everyone, like jail for you, criminals, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just, actually, excuse me, I meant he's more like the other way. He's like, he's releasing criminals that deserve jail time, like immediately. Like, like unlike Obama, because Obama was like the one that was sending everybody to jail. This guy was like, nah, like violent crimes, it's okay. Like limited jail time for everyone. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm going to go after Donald Trump. And like, it's just out of nowhere. Meanwhile, there's this other thing going on called the Hunter Biden laptop, where it's like, like he was just basically caught with CP on this freaking laptop. No one knows what the hell is going on with that. It's like now he's suing the guy that, had the laptop. He's like trying to sue the guy now. And so he basically admitted that the laptop was his, even though apparently it was all a Russian hoax the whole time anyways. But still, now he's admitted it and he's suing the guy, which I think is freaking crazy. But it's like, let's pay attention to none of that and how the crazy, just the crazy people, right? It's just, I feel like this is just such a hypocritical situation. It's like, let's go after Donald Trump when all of this stuff is happening in our own administration. Let's not face any of that. And let's not talk about any of that. We just need to get rid of Trump. And that's ridiculous to me. The other thing that's ridiculous to me, though, at the same time, is this weird just sniping of back and forth of Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. It's actually driving me crazy because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that subscribe to the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And a few people who do subscribe to that notion are Putin and Xi Jinping or Winnie the Pooh or whatever the hell you want to call it. Okay. China and Russia are hand in hand right now. They're making peace deals. They're doing, historic shit because they're aligning themselves against the West and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the US can't get their shit together for 2 seconds to defeat the left in their own country and have these two men who are basically giants in the Republican Party, even though maybe they technically shouldn't be, but they are. That's the two dudes. They have huge bases and they cannot put their egos aside for 2 seconds and be like, you know what? There's a bigger picture. Let's align so that we can defeat the left and get Biden and this administration out of the fucking White House. Can you explain to me, as a dude with a huge, massive ego, what the fuck is going on with Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump?
I don't know. See, this is a part of politics that I never get. I feel like there is room in the American political system for people to actually like take the high road. I hate that expression. But you know what I mean? Yeah. Like not sit there and mudsling and snipe. And it's like, okay, both of you guys, either one of you not doing this would be better than both of you doing this.
Right.
And if both of you could not do it, it'd be great. But for some reason, like it never works. No one can ever stay above board. They always end up going. And I think it's there's always an advisor somewhere saying, no, you got to hit back. You got to hit back. You got to hit back. And it's like, these guys should not be sniping at each other. Personally. No. Because, they could have made an excellent running mate ticket if it came down to Trump getting the nomination, DeSantis being vice president, something like basically grooming DeSantis for the next presidential run.
I've been saying this for the whole time. Like, why isn't this happening? Why can't they get together? Just Donald Trump, he's older. Let him run one more year. He's going to get that one more year. Let DeSantis run as VP, as his running mate. Get Tulsi Gabbard as your fucking, what's it called? Once you're in, get Tulsi Gabbard as your Secretary of State. You're golden. You're done. You will win. The Republicans will win the election. But they can't even come together for 5 seconds. They're just like, they're like children. They're just sniping back and forth at each other. It makes no fucking sense to me. There's bigger things to worry about. If you're like, if I was a U.S. citizen, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, why can't these guys get their shit together? Here is, like, for example, what Donald Trump had to say today. Apparently, this was posted on Truth Social. I'm going to take Laura Loomer at her word that this is Donald Trump saying this. Sure. I'm not a Truth Social member, but well, it's Laura Loomer, so whatever. While I'm fighting against radical left lunatics, persecutors and unfair prosecutors who want to destroy us all, Ron DeSanctimonious is not working for the people of Florida as he should be. He's too busy chatting with the ratings challenge TV host from England, desperately trying to rescue his failing campaign. But it's my fault. I put him there. God, I can't deal with this. But like, this is also the craziest shit, is when Donald Trump says stuff like this too. I don't actually understand what he means when he says that he's not doing anything for Florida, because Ron DeSantis was one of the only people that did anything for anybody when the lockdowns happened. He kept Florida free. And he's one of the only people that's done anything with regards to the quote unquote don't say gay bill, which is the education bill in Florida, and standing up to the whole those crazy people. He's been standing up to a lot of stuff. So I don't understand why Donald Trump is coming out here and even saying something like this, because this is just clearly untrue.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because I had hoped that there would be maybe a little bit of lighthearted jab, like back and forth, and then they would kind of keep it whatever. But because the problem is, if they go too hard at each other, it will divide the bases. It'll divide those bases so far apart. And Trump has this knack for being extremely polarizing to anyone he gets opposed to. And if you like, I mean, even if you look at how like venomous Trump versus Cruz got in 2016, like that turned a bunch of Cruz supporters off of Trump. And that may have kind of sparked the real anti-Trump stuff in the Republican Party. And, you know, that it's because they always end up going hard. And it's, you know, I don't know. I think there's a lot of risk from it. So I'm not so sure it's like epic troll on the media or the liberals or whatever, that Don and DeSantis are like, they're not actually fighting. They're just play fighting, because it doesn't matter what they feel about each other. What matters is what they do with their voting bases.
And what happens 2024.
Right. And I don't know. It just looks like a nasty split, but maybe it won't be. Maybe it won't be a big deal.
This is another thing that he wrote. Ron DeSanctimonious is running without running. He's doing this to subvert election law. Run. He's such a troll. Others have done it before, though, so I can't really blame him. But he should take a look at his polls, which are crashing like a few people have seen before. That's because he's merely an average Republican governor who has great public relations, far better than he deserves. Far better than deserved. When he looked at Florida's numbers compared to other states, you will not be impressed. I will release them later in the day. So this is the kind of stuff he's just been saying, I guess, on Truth Social. I honestly don't understand it. As an outsider, I'm like, look, the left, the one thing that the left has is that they're united. No matter what, they'll be like, we need to get rid of Trump. We need to unite. We need to, galvanize and get rid of the Republicans, get rid of Trump, get rid of whatever. The Republicans cannot do this. And I think that this is really hurting them. That's my personal opinion as a Canadian Mexican, as someone who's definitely not from the United States. I have to clarify this because I know there's a lot of Americans that watch. I just have opinions. Okay. Like that. I'm an outsider. I have opinions. I actually really like Donald Trump. I like Ron DeSantis a lot. I think they would kill together. I think they would absolutely just murder the elections together if it happened.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's a ton of potential for it. Or for one thing I've floated out is the possibility of one of them taking heat from the media. Well, it would be Trump taking heat from the media as they fear his run or whatever, and then bowing out and endorsing DeSantis, which I know a lot of Trump supporters don't like that. And I'm not saying that he has to do that or anything. Before anybody jumps down my throat, I just was thinking tactically, like that would be probably a strong move in uniting the Republican Party versus having a fight between the two. Because I think if Trump decides to run, he's not going to, he's going to fight it all the way through and through. And I just think that has the risk of doing so much damage to each of them that I worry if that will split the Republicans and not allow for a victory in 2024.
Oof.
But I'm not a political expert.
I know.
You said.
Neither am I.
I'm just an asshole with an opinion about it. I don't really care. I think Trump made a great president, and I think he would make a great president again.
He shocked me, man. He shocked me because I was definitely not down with Trump becoming president at the time. But then again, I was way less down with Hillary becoming president. I was like, no, F that bitch. Like if I was going to pick anybody, it would have been Trump. But I was still kind of like, oh my God, this guy, like the you're fired guy. Like, come on now. Like this freaking Donald Trump we're talking about. Dude's in the rap videos and shit. Like he's going to run the country. And then I was shocked. I was shocked about how well he did as a president. He was a really good one. But then shit went down, man. Shit went down. Real quick, let me get this super chat here. Go for Big Guy for 911 for 1999 says, have you two addressed the new revelations from the Piers Morgan interview saying that Trump shouldn't have challenged the election results and that it isn't what Washington would have done? Game, set, match, run is over. I've not seen it. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. I heard that I think Barnes said something is like what Ron DeSantis has done is ended his political career or something like that. And I didn't know why. That would explain kind of what he's talking about, but I haven't actually seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either. So what did he do? Piers Morgan said that you shouldn't have challenged the election results. Why would?
Well, apparently Ron DeSantis said that Trump shouldn't have challenged the election results.
Oh, I see. And so people got mad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what else was he supposed to do? If he really, I mean, can't talk about that kind of stuff on YouTube, but if somebody steals, if you feel like something was stolen from you, wouldn't you be like, hey,
you always have
man, why'd you steal my shit? You know,
that's a constitutional right. The redress of grievances. We get to go to our legal system and ask them to fix that which we find unjust, and we may lose, but we get to ask. And the idea that Trump asking was so audacious and ridiculous is silly, because prior to how 2020 worked out, and back in as early as 2016, Hillary, first of all, tried to do something similar in 2016. They went after Trump for 4 straight years of his presidency over him winning in 2016.
Yes.
And then I think it was Hillary who had suggested right before the 2020 election that the Democrats needed to be prepared to fight in court because they were suggesting Trump was going to steal the election. Like that was what she had said. And I think Joe had echoed the sentiment, said something like, you know what, it's not over. We're not going to concede, blah, 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 because we expect some bad stuff. And then the results were going, their way. And so they didn't end up doing that. But they're like, how dare they do this? And of course, Al Gore challenged the elections and Bush v. Gore, like as if election challenges were some new thing that no one's ever done. It's like, what are you talking about? Like the elections get challenged all the time.
All the time.
They're just usually they're not on the scale that we're talking about, and the stakes aren't as dire. I mean, Bush v. Gore is the most recent one for most of our generations who watch
that was me.
Content.
I remember that because I was very against the Iraq war, so I was, very upset. I was very upset about the Bush win.
Oh, don't worry, Gore would have put us in Iraq too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, now I know that because I'm older and I understand that it's two sides of the same coin kind of thing. The military industrial complex is going to do what it's going to do, but it's just interesting how things went about the way that they did. So here is let me get a couple of these super chats. We're between topics here. Christian Wolf, thank you for the $5. Rand Johnson trilogy cancel. Peaky Blinders writer hired for Star Wars project. I didn't even know that. Maybe the Force isn't dead after all. Maybe wishful thinking. I wouldn't hold my breath. That's all I can say. But I do like Peaky Blinders. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Ooh,
no.
It's good.
It's a movie, a show, something?
It's a show. Okay. It's a 5-season show. They're supposed to come out with a movie to finish the series. It's with Cillian. I don't know how you say the guy's name. Cillian Murphy or Cillian Murphy. I'm not really sure how you say his name, but it's a really good one. It's about like the Irish gangs or whatever, and freaking back in the day. It's really good. I like it. Cool. Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders, eh? That's my terrible fucking accent. Russell Halford 2. Shad is a type who would Cosby you in your sleep. That's Az. You've gotten it mixed up, dude.
Shad's a pure gentleman.
100%.
As a little degenerate.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Low Cameron for $5.50. I like Mexico. I went there and won $350 at a casino. Nice. Plus, some girls there gave me the nickname Hombre Apestoso. I don't know what that means, which I assume means handsome man. I don't speak taco. Apestoso. Yeah, what does that mean? I know what hombre means.
It means stinky.
Oh no. Oh no, I'm sorry. The Spanish girls were mean to you. Boosh McFadden for $2. Nina, Charlie Peace is a girl. Ask Nick. Okay, who's Charlie Peace?
She's a girl.
Who is she?
She's a female Dutch attorney. I've had her on the stream a couple times. She's cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Boosh wants me to get her on for Infinite Hope. Is she a positive person?
Yeah, she's hilarious.
Okay, can you connect us?
Sure.
Please? Thank you. That'd be awesome.
I'd be happy to.
Oh, snap. It's Dave. I like your icon for $2. Stormy even said they never had sex.
But didn't she also say that they did have sex?
I heard that she did say that they had sex. But then again, see, that's the media, right? And this is why the show's called Breaking the Narrative, because I've heard both from the media. I've heard that she said they did have sex, and I've heard that she said they didn't. But I've also heard that she did several times more than she didn't. So I'm like, I don't know what to believe anymore. I'm just like, okay, it's I think that she did because she's a porn star, and I mean, like, who cares? Like, just who cares? They probably did it. They're two consenting adults. I don't care if it, like, unless she's underage at the time, I don't give a shit. Like, it's like, who fucking cares?
Right. And we don't like. I know why Trump wouldn't want people to know it, because like whatever his personal feelings on it, and even whatever Melania's still traumatized. Melania's personal feelings are on it. You know, he has a conservative. He was trying for a conservative base.
Yes,
and they would see that as a big failure, and that would be it would turn out bad for him. So like I get
Yeah.
it, but I
Yeah.
think at some point he should just own it and say, look, and because he was kind of running on the whole like, I've become a better moral person as I've learned more about everything.
Mhm.
Like he was doing that anyway because he has like the 17 marriages or whatever. That's a joke. But like the multiple marriages where he kept trading in for a younger Eastern European model.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. And who could blame him?
I mean, nobody.
But
Come on.
he was already kind of walking that back, and he could have just said, yeah, you know what? I was kind of a dog before, and you know,
Yeah.
it's an
I mean, he's Donald
opportunity
Trump.
arose, and women love me very much because I have this beautiful booty. So
There's all
so,
my
yeah.
hair flowing.
They imagine it draping down over them.
The Front Porch Conservative for $5 says, Lady Nina and Nick, evening. I'm a new creator with channels on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, and my under my name. Any advice on how to become a successful grifter? Well, that's all you, Nick. Please.
Look, really, the key to success on social media legitimately is constantly showing up and consistently showing up at predictable times and predictable places for people, wherever that may be. And it's getting more and more complicated with more and more platforms out there, and the format changes that they're doing. They're really pushing short stuff right now. If I were just starting out, my formula would be to pick a home, Rumble, YouTube, wherever it's going to be as your main platform, focus there, but you got to have short content coming out on everything, on YouTube, Instagram, on TikTok. And you got to try and use that to drive people to your main channel. But your main thing, you have to show up every day at the same time. Do that because two things. One, people love consistency and predictability. Two, you're there when something happens, when you catch that niche and you can ride the wave over and over again. Like you're always there doing it. And people know where you are. And especially if something comes along that's like in your wheelhouse and they're already looking for it, they'll tune into you. And each of those, like, even when it's a little bump of more of your viewers are watching this thing, that will bring in more of other viewers who've never seen you. And you just have to go do it, wait for opportunity and then take it. But to take opportunity, you have to be there all the time.
And if you were to start a channel today, Nick, would you do it on YouTube or would you do it on Rumble?
If I were starting a channel today, I would do it on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble.
All of them.
All of them.
Okay. There you go.
I would see where I started getting traction.
And then focus your energy on that.
Yeah. Facebook is a sleeper because Facebook is, no one really pays attention to Facebook video, but Facebook is the only platform with a subscriber base that rivals YouTube, and with an ad payment scheme that rivals YouTube. Like their ad payouts are about the same, but their distribution algorithm for a lot of people is way better than YouTube's. But Facebook has some sketch rules that I probably violate like 4 to 5 times a minute. So that's why I haven't really focused over there. But yeah, for a lot of people, Facebook is, especially if you're talking politics, you've got an older demographic who's more interested in that stuff on Facebook. Like you can clean house. I know people who make $30, $40, $50, $60,000 a month on Facebook.
What? Why am I not on Facebook? Oh God, I hate Facebook. I just learned so much from you from the super chat.
It's
I have
crazy.
to diversify, Nick. There's just so much to do all the time. And I'm like, I'm not doing any of the things I should be doing. I could probably be so much more successful, but I'm not doing any of it. I'm like, oh my God, that's freaking insane. Okay, thank you for that super chat. And then here's a $20 super chat from Venerea. What? Venerea? LOL? For $20. I hope I didn't. Thank you. I hope I didn't butcher your name. I probably did. Thanks for fixing that, Nick. Thoughts on the creator of Rick and Morty being found not guilty of abusing his ex? I know he effectively got canceled based on the allegations, lost his job and partnerships. I just literally heard about this ruling right before we went live. Did you even know about this? I just heard
I
about
didn't
it.
even know it was
the details.
happening. I never cared about Rick and Morty because I've heard it's very funny, but you have to be highly intelligent to appreciate it.
The first season was really good. Second season was Third season's blech. And then
I didn't have anything
I
against
know.
it. I just like people were like, "Hey, Rick and Morty," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't
Mhm.
know what that is. I don't really watch TV very much ever
Mhm.
anymore. But no, I had just heard about it today too that he had been canceled for something, and then he
Mhm.
won, and it's like, oh, okay, but the cancellation is the thing, right? You can win your
Yeah.
case, and and it's going to be, well, yeah, you
Yeah,
won your
just
case,
ask
but
Louis C.K.
you won on a technicality, so you're still a piece of shit because you still beat your wife, right? Like that's what
right.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
every fucking time.
I mean, I think the only person that's kind of uncanceled now is Johnny Depp. I think that Johnny Depp is uncanceled. I think he
Yeah.
won that case. And I think it's just because Amber Turd is such a bitch that everyone's just like, you know what? Fuck this bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
even her fans are like,
the benefit Johnny Depp had was his name was so huge
yeah.
that when his trial happened, almost everybody saw
Mhm.
something about it. And what they usually saw was a little video of Amber looking like a complete piece of shit.
Right.
And it's
Total
funny because
psycho.
like when people ask what I do when I'm like out meeting people or whatever, that like when I'm in Vegas or whatever, or at a bar, and people are like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, I do a stupid show on YouTube or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, what do you talk about?" I'm like, "Well, I do a show that's very degenerate. It's like, you know, if Howard Stern had a law degree or something." But
Mhm.
the other thing I do is I cover these live trials, and I'm like, have you ever seen those clips of people like where there's a bunch of lawyers on the side and like a video going? I'm like, yeah, I'm like, that's what I do. I know all those people. And they're like, yeah, I saw that with Johnny Depp. And so, I mean, people have seen that a ton of times, that those, like the clips of that stuff went everywhere.
Yeah.
And so that was Johnny's big advantage, is he was covered to the point where other people got to see how bad she was. Most
Mhm.
people don't get that.
Yeah, it was crazy. That trial was nuts because even my friends in Mexico were like, "Oh my God, I'm watching the Johnny Depp trial." And I was like, "Oh, have you heard of a guy named Nick Rekieta?" And they're like, "Oh my God, that's what I'm watching it on." Like people like it was crazy. Like they're like, "Oh my God, that's your friend?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know that guy." It's pretty funny. Okay, I think we got that one. Thank you. Okay, we got those ones. Let me go here. Just a theory. Maybe the problem, the hall's too wide from Russell Hall for $2. I don't know what you're talking about, Russell. Thank you. Map hanger for $2. Democrats take their Hippocratic oath seriously. That's funny. Russell Hall for $5. Consider that the entire point of DeSantis might be to scuttle a second Trump term. If he runs, then that was always the point. He knows the outcome. That's an interesting point. Although I think I just think it's all stupid. I think they should just put their differences aside, whatever they may be, and we're on the same ticket. But that's just me. I'm like, I think there's a bigger enemy, and if there's a bigger enemy, you got to team up. It's like Conan. You have to form alliances to beat the bigger clan. It's just the way it is. Until you no longer need those people, then you can leave the clan. Go for big guy 911 for $1.99. I will post in Nick's locals in a second. Oh yeah, that's right about that video. Russell Hall, thank you again for the $5. Republicans are divided because it's the other half of a unit party. Trump's an outsider, so the whole Dem unit party plus half Republicans are against him. U.S. politics is
And
weird.
the problem with that is that doesn't bode well for 2024.
No.
Like that is what's terrifying about it, is the risk that we're going to end up with Biden because of this reality.
Exactly. This is the reason that the left is going to win. That's why the Republicans need to get their shit together.
Can you imagine how broken his brain is going to be 4 years from now? Oh my God.
I don't even know how he's still
Ice cream
around.
shawarma.
He's like literally, I feel like he's just there because of all the drugs they pump him and like that they pump him in full of drugs, and I think that's the only reason he's like even able to stand.
Yeah, it's funny because you can tell like when the Adderall's wearing off.
Yeah, like he's just like, oh, it's so bad. XSL for 2. Nick, explain NYC exposed breast law.
I'm not aware. I think basically they fought for equality of freeing the nipple. Like guys can walk around with their shirts off. I'm pretty sure in New York City now women can too.
Oh, that's well, in Canada you could do that already.
Really? You just walk around topless in Canada?
In Canada, well, in Vancouver anyway, you could. Like you have a choice if women are allowed to walk around naked, not naked, but with nipples if they want to. Most don't, but you don't get arrested for public nudity if you do it.
The problem with most of those laws is the people who walk around without shirts on are people you don't want to walk around without a shirt on.
Exactly. People you don't want to see.
Yeah,
That's always the case with like freaking nude beaches too. It's like every time I go to a nude beach, there's not a hot guy with like 6 packs. There's like really fat, giant 200-pound guys with tiny little dicks that no one wants to see. It's just like, put it away.
Put that down. Put that down. No.
Oh, it's very annoying. Lily Smith or 5 says Ron Coleman said he saw them destroying ballots with his own eyes. People saw a lot of things.
I wouldn't talk about that too much on YouTube.
Yeah, people saw a lot of things. Go for big guy 9/11 for oh my god, 911 9/11. One for $1.99.
Hashtag never forget.
Shit. I just canceled myself within like this 2 super chats. It's not the local made page, and I put it in the chat. There you go. That video he's talking about with the racist guy. 2 and Watt Studios for 2. Stormy was moist. Ew. God, 2 and Watt Studio. But you get like the bumps because that's funny. Because it's Stormy. Get it? Russell Hall for 2. Is the NDA real? If so, they did it. That's why I think they did it, because I think the NDA is real. Do you think the NDA is real?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he sued the NDA came up in the defamation case. I think the NDA is real. But you can have an NDA to tell someone to stop saying that you had sex with them, even if you didn't have sex with them.
Okay.
If that, like, the NDA structure would be, you are not allowed to talk about any sexual activity with Trump or with, any sexual or non-sexual activity with him at all.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stop talking about this at all. We're going to pay you $130,000 for you to stop talking about it. And then that'll be that. And NDAs are perfectly legal. Now, an NDA over unlawful activity is not enforceable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't beat someone and NDA them into not reporting the crime. They can, I mean, you can try, but they can report the crime still. Like, you can't do something like that. But if it's over legal activity, you can have an NDA for anything. It is not illegal. They always call it like hush money or whatever. And it's like, well, I mean, I guess it's technically hush money, but NDAs aren't nefarious or awful. It's literally just like, look, I will pay you to not say the thing. You can pay people to not defame you. You can pay people to not do anything. Like, you pay people for whatever you want, as long as it's not an illegal thing. And asking people to not say something, whether it happened or not, is not illegal.
Okay. Well, this show has kind of got away from me because I lost track of time. So let's really quickly go over this other topic that I wanted to talk to you about, which is Gwyneth Paltrow's trial. I didn't even know this was happening. But apparently, long story short, she bumped into someone skiing in 2016. Then they decided to, like, that person decided to swim because they got injured. And then she said they never got injured and they bumped into her. And then this guy was suing her for like $300 million or something like that. I don't remember the money.
I don't know.
Something ridiculous. And then she countersued for $1. And she said it's just because he's suing me for $3.1 million. That's what the thing was for, and then lowered it to 300,000 later. So then she's basically countersuing for like $1 because she's like saying that this guy's just taking advantage. But then there was a thing today where the witness came and said that like she was the one that hit him and left and all this stuff. And I guess my question to you, first of all, is why aren't you covering this trial?
One, I didn't know it was happening until Monday when it started. I had no idea Gwyneth Paltrow was going on trial for that. Like I've not heard of this story or whatever. Two, for the past 2 weeks, I have been driving all day, like every day. We had our kids have all of these activities that have been going on, and I'm hoping they're winding down, but it's like, it's crazy when as school years come to an end. And especially as a homeschool parent, you think like, oh, you're homeschooling, so you're at home all the time. No, like the kids are always doing something. They've got an activity. They've got an art class. They've got a music class. They got things that we don't, like we can't teach at home. Like I can't teach piano. Lady Rackets can't teach piano, but all our kids play piano. So they have piano lessons. They have violin lessons. They have art class. They do different science classes and stuff. Stuff that we can't do here. We cover some of the basics, but they go participate in other things. It also helps them socialize and have friend groups and all of that stuff. They have to go to all these things. You're driving all the fucking time. When your kids are in school, they just go to a building for 9 straight hours. When they're not in school, they have to go to like 50 buildings for 9 straight hours. It's fucking insane. I
understand. So you're busy is what you're saying. You can't go.
Yeah, it's nuts. But so that's the main reason is I don't know if I have any time to do it. I haven't since Monday been like at home during the day.
This is just such a bizarre story. It's just like, okay, like this dude, it's like, I don't understand why she would even deny this, because it's just, everything is just very easy to prove, because she's like, oh no, he never got injured, and like he's lying about his injuries. And I'm like, but there's records and x-rays, and like, he claims he had a concussion and like all this stuff like that. These are all very like, easily provable things that he could do. But I guess like we'll find out during the trial and what happens. It's just really bizarre and really stupid. And I think Gwyneth Paltrow is just a really weirdo, like a big weirdo.
She's a strange duck, that's for sure. Whether like, look, the real question on whether or not this guy will win will be entirely up to if he can prove that she hit him, caused injury, and that that it wasn't an accident. Like, because there's an accident and then there's negligence, an accident caused by negligence. Like sometimes bad things happen and not everybody has to sue just because something bad happened to you. Was she intoxicated? Was she doing something that she should have not hit him had she not been doing the negligent thing? Because you don't owe anyone anything other than a general duty to not harm people.
Yeah, they're saying she was a bitch and she just got up and left like right after she knocked him down.
But see, the question is, does her leaving somehow mean that that it wasn't just an accident?
Right.
Like, I mean, if the entire cause of action is
well, wouldn't it be like a hit and run, Nick? Like it would be kind of like a hit and run.
I'm not aware of
a car.
Like the reason a hit and run is a crime is because you have a license and there's a set of laws on the road that you agree to obey because of this driving license. And so the government regulates the roads. I don't know that there's a no hit and run skiing law, right? Like if you hit someone with a car, there's insurance claims and everything that have to happen. And so that creates, now it can make it look like you're in trouble for like that you were doing something you weren't doing if you leave, I guess. But just because you hit someone and then like, oh, I collided with someone and I leave, like you don't know that person's injured. You don't have some duty to go make sure they're not.
Right.
Like You're skiing, for Christ's sake. You're
Well,
not.
maybe like you have a human duty, but that's not like I don't know. It's not written in. It's not a law or anything. But I mean, if I bumped into someone and someone went unconscious, I think I would be like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" Like, holy shit, that would be kind of like my instinct. But she doesn't have that instinct, so it's like, okay, like, does that warrant her to be? Yeah, I guess you're right. Like, it would just be
But I mean
about.
that's the question. Is it an accident or is it negligence? Now, if there is something that she's supposed to do that she doesn't do,
Mhm.
and it causes an accident that shouldn't have occurred, then yeah, she could be liable for it. Of course. That's anything, right? Like if how do I fucking word this? If I'm throwing a baseball, right, in my backyard, and someone walks into my backyard and gets hit by a baseball, that's their fault. But if I'm throwing a baseball into a crowd, like I might not be trying to hit anybody in the crowd, but I'm just throwing a baseball and there's a crowd there, well, that could be negligence. Or maybe a golf ball is a better example. But if you're driving by a driving range and a golf ball smashes into your window, right? That's not negligent on the part of the golfer. The golfer's on a driving range, they take a swing. Golf course isn't liable for that either.
That's
Like,
just an
look,
accident.
it just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you're in your yard and you're hitting into like an area where your ball could go in a street,
Mhm.
you might be liable for causing damage to someone's car because now you're negligent. But
right.
golf, driving ranges put up barriers and stuff. They try to take reasonable care, and occasionally a golf ball will go way over a net or something like that. So the question is it an accident or did she violate some rule, some duty, whatever? Again, are you intoxicated while skiing? Are you going down, like, did you take a shortcut that's off of the trail that you're not supposed to take, and then you like come back onto the trail and collide with someone? I don't know the details of her thing, so I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I haven't watched it, but you could be liable for harming someone in any situation. But the question is it accident? Is it negligence?
Right. And then I guess they'll find out during the trial. That's going to be a fun one to kind of like keep an eye out for. Last thing before you'll have to leave me is this here. Jack Daniels dispute doggy toy company lands at Supreme Court. Did you hear about this one?
I've heard about it, yes.
Okay, so what is your thoughts on this one?
I don't think anybody is buying the dog toy thinking it's Jack Daniels.
I know. I don't either. I'm like, who's doing this? I don't understand why Jack Daniels would do this to themselves.
And it's not. Jack Daniels has, if I'm not mistaken, Jack Daniels has written they have like a legendarily bad cease and desist in the past. That's kind of like a meme now. But this kind of reeks true. And some of these big companies do that. Like they go after everybody for anything. And this one is like, I look at that. The question in trademark, right, is there a likelihood of customer confusion? Does someone sitting at the, not of if they're buying whiskey, which that would be an easy case, but if you're at the dog store or the pet store and you see the dog toy, do you think that Jack Daniels is selling the dog toy? Are they infringing on Jack Daniels with that bottle? And I'm looking at it and it's like dog spaniels or something. Like that doesn't look like Jack Daniels is selling that. Like, because it would say Jack Daniels, right? Like that would be the whole point, is to have like a cool little mini Jack bottle for your pooch.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think it's straining everything. I think you can make like a parody toy for a pet that looks like everybody's like, oh yeah, it's like a Jack Daniels bottle. That'll be funny because my dog's a boozer, I guess. And I think that should be perfectly fine. So I hope the pet toy company wins.
I hope so too, because I also think this is actually really good advertising in a way for Jack Daniels. It's like, it's kind of like indirectly advertising, like that shape and like the way it looks. Like it's actually like kind of like working. It's like memes, right? Like if you see Jack Daniels on memes and stuff like that, like anything is kind of like it's better to get your face and like whatever your likeness out there than not. And it's not like they're making it, it's not a bad thing. They're not degrading it or anything. So that, and I don't think that I don't know. I hope that the doggy company wins, because I think that this is just stupid. This is I think Jack Daniels could have done better than this one. So hang on. Patrick, you just sent me a member message saying, "Miss my super chat, supervisor." Don't worry, I got it. It's right here. And he's asking you, Nick, if you're dyeing your hair.
No, it was it started out the stream a little bit wet because I was sleeping, and so I had to style it very quickly. But no, I don't dye my hair. I did trim my beard, so some of the grays aren't visible, but they'll be back soon.
Oh.
Lady Rackets likes gray hair. I get this all the time. They're like, "Oh, next time." No, like I want it gray. Like I want to have more and more gray. She loves gray hairs.
Women like silver foxes. I'm into that too. My husband has gray hair, and his black, beautiful hair. And I'm like, I like the streaks. It's
women
very nice,
love,
very handsome.
They love the silver hair. I sit in stress in the mirror trying to get more and more grays. And when I get them, I'm excited. So.
Oh my God, Nick, it's been so lovely to see you tonight. I'm going to transfer to Rumble and go weird over there. Do you want to transfer to Rumble with me before?
I can stay for a couple minutes. Minutes.
Let me quickly get these super chats on YouTube, and then we'll go. John Kennedy for $2. Stormy signed paperwork stating no sex happened. Okay. Ong Hung Hero for $5. Don Jr. tweeted a letter from Avenatti's lawyer that nullifies the entire witch hunt. We read that. Would vote DeSantis over Trump purely because I'm tired of the drama. Okay.
Let me quickly say something though. That letter is a legal position taken by Cohen's lawyers in Cohen's criminal suit prior to him being convicted for all of the shit that he did. That letter doesn't have any legal weight to it. So like that letter, like I could write a letter on behalf of Alec Murdaugh as his lawyer saying Alec Murdaugh didn't engage in the murder of his wife and kid. And then he could be convicted for murdering them. And that letter doesn't mean that someone later can see, like, see, he wrote a letter that said he didn't, his lawyer wrote a letter that said he didn't do it. So it is interesting that, I mean, it's helpful evidence for Trump, but it doesn't end anything as far as the legal case could be concerned. But this is a really complicated legal case anyway. And the grand jury has to decide if it's even worth pursuing. And they don't technically have like a crime yet. We don't even know what the charge may be. Like we have some ideas of what it may be, but the grand jury has to return an indictment with a charge on it. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But like, unfortunately for Trump, that letter doesn't actually clarify things. Just because you take a position on a tax categorization doesn't mean that the federal government agrees with your position. You can lose that argument.
Interesting. Dr. Raji for $1.99. Nina, I've been enjoying your Conan streams. Thank you. Thank you very much. Lowell Cameron for $2.20. Stinky Man has a nice ring to it. I ain't mad. That's funny. Russell Hall for $2. Republicans will win if Biden wins. Conservatives lose. That's weird because of the neocons, I guess. I don't know if you mean by the neocon, if that's what you mean. Jane Theory for $5. How about we stop electing who ours in the first place? I hate everyone. Thank you so much for the $5. Patriotic Gestalt. And oh, snap. It's a day for $2. Nick, your B word TTs for power or speed.
B word TTs for power or speed? What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know what that means. I was hoping you know.
I have no idea.
Nick, your bitches word titties for power or speed? I don't know.
Bitch titties for power or speed? I both.
Okay, there you go. James Cran for $2. Hi, Nick. Merch is off, so I'm watching you with Nina. Okay,
hey, cool.
Thank you. And everybody, thank you so much for watching on YouTube. I'm going to switch over to Rumble now, at least just to test it out and see if it's going to work. Let me bring up my YouTube end page because that's apparently something I have to do now. It's all very weird. I'm not used to it. I'm sorry, Nick. Bear with me.
Oh, you're fine.
Bear with me and my boomerisms. I forgot that I have to go into the page to end it. Here we
We're
go.
on YouTube?
We're on
No,
YouTube right now.
You're on StreamYard, right?
Yeah, but don't I have to end the stream on YouTube?
No, go. Okay, so on StreamYard, you've got the two little things. You've got YouTube
Yes.
and Rumble.
Yes.
Just click on the YouTube one.
Uh-huh.
And then click on end stream on just the YouTube one.
It doesn't have that on mine.
It should have a little drop-down menu.
It just says view on you. It says edit, remove.
Okay,
view
yeah.
on
So
YouTube.
remove the YouTube one.
Oh, just remove it.
Yeah, just click remove and then confirm, and it'll end the stream on YouTube for you. Right there. On StreamYard.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better. All right. Okay, so everybody, thank you so much for watching. We're gonna go over to Rumble now, and we'll see you over there. The link is in the description. Go and check us out. Bye, everybody on YouTube. Later.
Are you ready? Are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen,